let's get into the giant mailbag.
What crazy thing did City do this week?
It's time for Mattress running the numbers. Ready for the main event?
The main event.
Frequent Miler on the air starts now. Today's main event, strange bedfellows and secret alliances.
What's going on there? Things that
Intriguing,
make you go,
huh?
Yeah.
That's sort of the intent of the title. Make you go, what's going on? This is intended to be a fun look at some rewards programs and how there are these strange alliances. Like the one we've talked about many times in the past is Amex Platinum, that luxury card, and Walmart Plus, which is not exactly the luxury brand. So that's an example of a strange bedfellow. But there's also these secret alliances, which are places where different programs have both like publicly declared relationships between each other. And there's certain situations where different programs have almost accidental relationships due to different perks that different programs have, and we'll talk all about. We'll
I'm
give
confused
some
now.
examples.
Confused.
Yeah, if I confuse you, that's good. That's we want you at the edge of your seat, waiting for today's main event. Today first is giant mailbag. So today's giant mail comes from me, and I imagine Nick will chime in too, because we're recording on Thanksgiving week, and this will air Thanksgiving weekend. And so I just wanted to give my thanks to everybody who listens to the podcast or watches on YouTube. We have so much fun doing this show, and it's amazing to have a ever-growing audience who seems to enjoy listening and watching the show as well. And so I just want to thank you. This past week, our last show, Extreme Stacking for Extreme Savings, hit number 3 in Apple Podcasts in our category.
That's fantastic. That's exciting.
Our category, it is exciting. Our category, of course, is Points and Miles blogs, where there are 5 employees.
Right. And they start with frequent and end with miler, and we still came in number 3 somehow.
Somehow we're only number 3 in that category. No, our category is United States places and travel, and so that seems fairly broad. So it's pretty amazing to see our show hit number 3 in that category for Apple Podcasts. Wow.
For sure. Yeah. So thank you to everybody out there who's listening, who listened to us rant for an hour and 42 minutes last week. We'll try not to do that to you this week. Okay.
That's right. This week, we're going to try to get through the show quicker so that everybody can enjoy their Thanksgiving weekend. And if you say, well, I really enjoy it more if I could have more FM. Well, there'll be more FM next week. So
there will. So thank you all very much, readers and listeners alike. So if you're mostly a blog reader and you only listen now and then, you're like, what are these guys talking about? I never listen to this podcast. Thank you for listening to it today.
There you go.
All right. Okay. So that, I think, should bring us next to this week's What Crazy Thing. And we want to know this week, what crazy thing did Wyndham Rewards do?
Yeah. What did Wyndham Rewards do? So they're out with their annual bad math promotion, where
that's what they should call it, the bad math promotion. More accurate with them.
Last year, I think their promo was 5 times rewards on everything in their portal, and this year it's 3 times. And as far as we can tell, last time there was nothing that was exactly 5 times the rewards from before the promotion, and this time I think that's the same story, that there's nothing that is actually 3 times anything else, but that's what they call it. So you had some fun with this. So
weird, the way that the promotion originally anyway was worded certainly made it sound like you'd get 3 times the displayed rate. Now, experience told me that probably wasn't correct, that probably the rates that they showed on the site were meant to be triple something. Triple what? Who knows? Because, like, for example, I made a purchase through Dell, and Wyndham displayed a rate of 7 points per dollar spent. Now, that would be 3 times, I don't know what, like 2.333 or something like that, right? Yeah, I mean, so like clearly they were never paying out 2 point whatever it was, to triple that. But so anyway, I thought that, what if Wyndham gets crazy here and they give me triple rewards? They end up giving me 21x. Let's give it a shot and make an order through Wyndham for this Dell purchase I was going to make. And then later they updated the sort of the homepage to say, hey, the 3x is already reflected in the payouts. So the 7x at Dell is 3x, whatever it is Wyndham thinks it is. And so I made my purchase for $249 at 7x. So I expected to get, I don't know, multiply the 7 times 249, 1,700-ish points or something like that. And hoped that maybe I'd get lucky and get more. And I got not 1, not 2, not 3 your order has been tracked emails, but 4 emails indicating that my order at Dell was tracked. Now, it tracked one time at the $249 that I spent. It tracked one time at $329, which was the original price of the item I bought before it was on sale, like the
interesting
full price, so to speak. And then it tracked once at like $578, I think it is, which I think is like $329 plus $249. I have no idea where they came up with this stuff. So yeah, I don't know how many points I'm going to get, but right now it's certainly more than 21x if they all posted. But like the odd thing is that none of the numbers of points. So like I said, right now it tracked as though I made 4 purchases of different amounts, which who knows where that came from. That's just nutty in and of itself. But then additionally nutty is that the number of points for each of those transactions, none of them are 7 times the amount that they show up for. So like,
are they consistent though? Like,
no, they're not.
Whatever the multiple is isn't even consistent.
No, one's like 3.2, a couple are 7.2. It's like, no, they're not even consistent with the multiples. It doesn't make any sense at all.
The good news, no matter how many points you end up with, it'll be 3 times something. Right?
3 times something. That's right.
Some number at which you got 3 times as many points.
It's totally true.
That's number.
Totally true. And for somebody out there who's like, well, maybe they 7x the total with shipping and taxes. I'm like, no, it doesn't work out there either. I did the math every which way, and it never does work out with Wyndham. That's the crazy thing. Like I've made other purchases too, and they never work out to be exactly the payout that they say. It's always some weird number, which I guess is maybe it's true. Maybe Dell really is at 7x is 3 times whatever they would have paid you. The site would have probably showed a different amount, but maybe it's 3 times what they actually would have paid you.
But then you would think each of those emails would have a consistent point multiplier above what it says you paid. So
and they don't.
Yeah, so, it makes no sense. So Wyndham, congratulations for continuing to roll out these bad math promos and to really stand behind the bad math credo in everything you do. So good job there.
Keep up the good work. All right. So that finishes that up, and that brings us, I think, next to what's the next segment? Is it
Mattress running the numbers?
There we go. We're trying to get it out of order. So Mattress running the numbers this week. Mattress running the numbers. We've got Bilt Rewards out with a promotion. They're offering a 100% transfer bonus when transferring your Bilt Rewards points to IHG. So ordinarily it's a 1-to-1 transfer. 1 Bilt point equals 1 IHG point. But with the current promotion running through December,
I think that is only on December 1st.
Only on December 1st. Only on December 1st. So you can get instead of 1-to-1, you'll get 1-to-2. So every 1 Bilt point you transfer will give you 2 IHG rewards points. That sounds pretty good, Craig. Double points.
I mean, double points. That sounds awesome. And, we've talked before about how Bilt has some of the best transfer partners. You can transfer Bilt rewards to Hyatt. You can transfer them to Turkish Aeroplan, to United, to American Airlines. I mean, they're the only one that allows 1-to-1 transfers to American Airlines right now.
Yeah, we've talked about how great it is. And in that list, where was IHG in that list?
We don't usually talk about IHG. That's kind of a throwaway one because you can so often buy IHG points for half a cent each. Every time IHG has a 100% bonus on purchase points, that means you're going to be able to buy points for half a cent each. They do that regularly. So I think of this double transfer bonus to be a way to get basically 1 cent per point value from your Bilt points, which is that exciting?
Doesn't excite me. I don't find it
No,
particularly
it
exciting at
doesn't
all.
excite me either.
I mean, I guess
Um,
I guess 1%. Like if you're mostly just earning points from your rent, maybe you'll be happy you got 1% back, sort of, on your rent. But yeah, no, it's not good value. You can book travel through the Bilt portal for 1.25 cents each. So there's a good chance you could book that IHG property probably still for fewer Bilt points if you just book a paid stay through their portal, right?
It could be, yeah, unless if you found a
Right.
really good award through IHG, and if there wasn't a
Yeah.
double points promo at the time, then I could see it being okay.
Yeah.
You're not
Right.
going to get incredible value from this, but
No.
it's nice to see them starting this double transfer bonus thing, and looking forward to when they offer double to Hyatt, because that'll be extremely exciting.
Well, that is. I mean, I know you're joking about that, sort of. Well, not really. That you'd be excited. Of course, you'd be excited. I don't think you probably think that's really going to happen. But
I
here's the
don't think
thing:
that's going to happen.
if they started, yeah, and it probably won't. But if they started with Hyatt, then what would we say about every promotion after that? We'd be like, well, it's not as good as the Hyatt one, but here's
Good
this one.
point.
So, I mean, if you're
Right.
going to start somewhere, you might as well start at the bottom and work your way up and get better, right? So,
True
I'm just
story.
excited that they're doing this at all, that they're doing a transfer bonus period. I think that
Yeah.
bodes well for us long term. I mean, Bilt has continued to build, pun intended, better and better stuff along the way. So every time they add something like this, I'm like, well, there's probably something better coming behind it.
That's a really good point. I hadn't even thought about it that way, but great point. It bodes well for the future.
That's
So
right.
hear that, Bilt. We're looking forward to the next big thing.
I can't wait until we get to Hyatt. All right. That's what we're really looking forward to. You're just going to keep that out there so that we keep saying, well, maybe one day they'll offer a transfer bonus.
So my assumption, I don't know the behind the scenes deals that these companies have, but my assumption is that it costs them a lot to that they have to pay for Hyatt points when you transfer, or
Right.
to any of these programs. They have to pay
Right.
for them, and of course they're more likely to offer double points when they don't have to pay much. My assumption is they have to pay Hyatt quite a bit, and so that's why I'm doubtful about a double Hyatt transfer bonus. But who knows? I mean, even a 50% bonus would be very exciting as well. So we'll see what they cook up.
Very good. All right. So let's talk about awards we booked this week. I have a quick one this week because this week I stayed at the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress in Orlando, one of Greg's, sort of, I don't know if I want to say favorite properties, but a property you like quite a bit, right?
I like it a lot, and I've stayed there many times in the past. It's been quite a few years since I've been there, but yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I had this stay booked here, and the piece of it that I want to talk about is that we decided we wanted one more night here. And the problem was that single night was not showing up as available for an award stay. So it was a Friday night. So I couldn't get Friday night by itself, but I could get Friday night as long as it was in a multi-night stay. For instance, if I looked Wednesday to Sunday, it was available. If I looked Thursday to Monday or whatever, I don't know what the minimum stay was, but the minimum stay was more than one night, clearly, because it wasn't showing up as available for only a one night stay. So instead, what I did was I booked a 3-night stay. And then I just called Hyatt and said, hey, listen, I really just wanted one more night. I'm meeting the minimum stay requirement. Can we modify that? And it was no problem. It only took a couple of minutes for a phone agent to modify it down to one night. We've talked about that in the past, but I think it's worth repeating for anybody who's missed that concept before, that you can take advantage of it that way, so to speak, and just modify it after you've made the reservation.
Just out of curiosity, did you try it the other way of just modifying your current reservation to be one more day longer?
Well, yeah. So the reason I didn't do that is because I had booked the VIP suite at the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress, and that wasn't available at all.
Okay.
So that was the problem. Although now I see that it is with the multi-night stay. So of course we're recording this while I'm still here. So I'm gonna have to go to the desk today and see if we can switch that up for the last night. I got a cough. Hold on.
Got it. All right. Well, all right. So that's good information. It's something that I think we've talked about before, that there are some places where Hyatt or it's the individual properties really have minimum stay requirements, and they can vary for award stays versus paid stays. And so sometimes you can get what you really want by booking a longer stay and changing it to what you actually want. So that's a great tip, and here's a real example where you're able to take advantage of it.
There you go. And the other thing we've talked about is you can switch which nights are paid and which nights are award, right? You can mix different things, just like with Marriott, right? Hyatt has a capability to do that. And so if you want a particular night as an award, you don't have enough points maybe to book the 3-night stay like I did, all on points and then modify it. You can book some nights on points and some nights with cash, I believe, also. So
that's right.
It's doable. Anyway, so there you have it. That's a little tip for you there. Now, that out of the way, the next thing up we got to talk about here is I lost myself here. I put my notes down. Next thing we got to talk about is the main event. My goodness, let's talk about the main event
time. Strange bedfellows and secret alliances. Yeah. So, we mentioned at the start of the show that the kind of motivation for this topic is the ridiculous alliance, or ridiculous seeming, I should say, alliance between the American Express Platinum card and Walmart, because the Platinum card gives you free Walmart Plus. But as you dig deeper into things, you find that there's lots of interesting alliances that go well beyond that. So let me just jump right in and start with Amex Platinum, because there's a lot of kind of hidden relationships there. So, for example, they have a public relationship with Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Peacock through the Amex Platinum has a digital entertainment credit where paying for any of those things I just mentioned will give you, you'll get the money back up to $20 a month. But there's sort of a secret relationship there with HBO Max, Showtime, Cinemax, and Starz, which is that you could sign up for Hulu and add any of those services to your Hulu account. And because you're paying through Hulu, it'll still look like Hulu to Amex Platinum, and you'll get, again, up to $20 a month back. So that's an example of a secret relationship, that Amex has a secret relationship with HBO and Showtime and so on.
So now, are you able to get those HBO and Showtime, like the apps separately, or do you have to think so. Watch them through Hulu?
I haven't tried. So I think, when you go through Hulu, you'll see those services there. Yeah. Okay. I think.
Okay.
Another one that people are more familiar with, I think, is a secret relationship with Paramount Plus, which is if you sign up for Walmart Plus, you get through Walmart Plus, you can get access to Paramount Plus. Now, this is the version with commercials, unfortunately, but Walmart Plus gives you that.
Nice. So that's a nice little stack there. And that's one that makes that Walmart Plus partnership more interesting, I think, for a wider range of people. Even if you don't shop at Walmart, hey, you probably watch something on Paramount.
Right. So, this is kind of fun because the Platinum card, we complain about it becoming a coupon book and having all these little deals here, there, and everywhere that you have to, take advantage of all these different things in order to really get your money's worth with the Platinum card. But you know what? More and more, at least in my household, we find ourselves paying for all these different streaming services because there's things we want to watch here, there, and everywhere, and so being able to get a lot of these for free is really, it's really nice. So
yeah, and widely applicable. I mean, because I think more and more people are doing that. You're not alone in that. So it really starts to add up. I feel like the savings adds up here.
Right. Okay, let's move on to Sapphire Reserve. So Chase Sapphire Reserve, they have a DoorDash benefit. You get DoorDash, I forget what it's called, Dash Pass, and some DoorDash credits. Meanwhile, the American Express Gold Card has a public relationship with Grubhub. So the Gold Card gives you $10 a month towards certain like dining things, and Grubhub is one of them. So you can, get $10 free of Grubhub each month with your Amex Gold card. So you have Chase on the one hand with DoorDash, you have Amex with Grubhub, but now Sapphire Reserve has a secret relationship with Grubhub, which is through Lyft Pink. So Sapphire Reserve has recently extended their Lyft Pink relationship, where they give you Lyft Pink all access if you have the Sapphire Reserve through the end of, I don't know, for a couple of years.
For a while. Yeah.
And Lyft Pink all access gives you Grubhub Plus for a year. So it's kind of a fun thing where, whereas Amex has the public relationship with Grubhub, Chase has kind of snuck in. And, if you have both cards, then what you could do is you get your Grubhub membership indirectly through Chase, and then use the gold card to pay for orders to get $10 a month back for anything you order from Grubhub. So you get the discount from Grubhub Plus, and you get the rebate from Amex Gold. So pretty cool.
I have a question about that. So
Sure.
Do you personally use this one? Is this one of you, the Grubhub one, this one you've been using or no?
Very rarely.
Very rarely. Okay.
Yeah, because I have all these Uber Eats credits that I have to use up monthly. So I usually turn to Uber Eats for food orders. But
yeah, well, me too. The reason I asked though is because I know for instance, with Dash Pass, I've right now I have a World Elite MasterCard or a World MasterCard in there that gives you free Dash Pass for X amount of time, whatever it may be. But if I try to change the payment method to any other card, it'll tell me I can't get Dash Pass benefits. I only get the Dash Pass benefits if I pay with the MasterCard that gives me the Dash Pass.
I see.
So I wondered if the same thing applied with Grubhub, but if you don't use it a lot personally, probably you haven't.
I think it's very unlikely to happen there because
it's
not you're not getting Grubhub because of the Sapphire Reserve. You're getting it because of Lyft Pink.
Right.
So it should be divorced of what card you're using to pay. So I'm pretty sure this would work.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You're right. It totally should. Yeah. I don't use Grubhub myself much because it's just not available at all near me. So it would only be when I'm traveling somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's only $10. So it's like, that's not going to cover enough for everybody to eat. Whereas like you said, Uber Eats, I have a bunch of those credits stacking. So it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Before all those Uber credits stacked up, I used to do Grubhub quite a bit. And with the Grubhub Plus membership, you often get these deals. That's like, I don't remember exactly, let's say $10 off of a $20 pickup order. And so I was able to frequently order things in town for, again, like almost nothing, especially after the rebate. That was a nice way to take advantage of that benefit.
For sure. Yeah, very good.
And I need to get back to doing that. All right, moving on to the next one. So Chase, they're tight with United, right? So they're a transfer partner with United. They have a bunch of United credit cards. They're the only bank in the US that has United Airlines credit cards. United, meanwhile, has a relationship with Marriott. They have their Rewards Plus or something. I forget what their relationship is called, but basically due to that relationship, you could transfer United points to Marriott and Marriott points to United at slightly better rates than you get without that relationship. In both cases, they're not great deals to do. A more exciting part of that relationship is if you get Marriott Titanium status, then you get United Premier Silver status. So you get United Silver status basically for free. So where this gets interesting to me in this secret relationship is that this is how sort of Amex kind of weasels into a relationship with United indirectly.
Interesting.
Because Amex has Marriott credit cards, and they also happen to have the easiest path to Marriott Titanium status, which is if you get the Bonvoy Brilliant card, that gives you 25 qualifying nights per year, throw in the Bonvoy business card from Amex, I'll give you another 15 nights per year. So you've got 40 Marriott nights every year without doing anything other than paying for your annual fees. And then you would only need 35 more nights at actual Marriotts to get titanium status each year and get United Silver status. So it's kind of interesting to me that Amex provides one of the easiest paths to United Silver status.
Yeah, that is crazy, isn't it? Yeah, that Amex provides the easiest way to get a low-level elite status with United if you want it. And that low-level Silver United elite status, I mean, it's not there. Obviously, you're not going to get top-tier benefits, but it's not bad, right? I mean, I've enjoyed it actually. You've been able to use the benefits once or twice, right?
Yeah. I don't fly United often, but when I do, it tends to be on a odd route or a not very trafficked route, because United is so far from having a hub in Detroit where I fly out of. I mean, they only have a few flights, and so they don't tend to be heavily flown. And so getting an upgrade even as Silver is not at all out of the question. I've been upgraded a couple of times, which is great.
Yeah. Well, and one of the benefits that I used recently was flying back from Chicago. Many people probably know I don't have Clear or TSA pre-check. Yes, I got lots of cards that reimburse it, but no, I don't have it. So of course, I'd be facing long TSA lines there because it's a very busy airport. But if you have Silver status, you can go all the way down to the end of the hall there where the check-in is, to the security point that you might think is closed because it looks like there's nobody there, because there isn't anybody there because there's no line. So you go all the way down to that one. As a United Silver member, you can take the the special line that's also Star Alliance Gold Fast Track.
That's great to know. I didn't even know that existed there in Chicago. Cool.
Well, I just happened to stumble on it when I was looking up information ahead of time because I was specifically curious if I'd have any way to get through security any faster with it. And sure enough, it worked. So yeah.
Right. And of course, there's other benefits like being able to pick preferred seats when you book into economy, getting a free check bag, so there's quite a few nice things about having United Silver, even if you don't fly very often.
Right. Yeah. So that's a nice little thing you can stack together, put together. And it is relatively easy to get to titanium status if you travel a moderate amount. I mean, actually staying 35 nights in hotels to get titanium status in United Silver, that's actually one of the better deals probably in terms of like fast tracks to elite status out there, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're a Marriott fan, I mean, 35 nights for some people would sound like unobtainable, but depending on how often you travel and how often you stay in Marriotts, I mean, that could be a really easy way to get there. And plus, once you hit 50,
for somebody who
travels 50 nights, once you hit 50 nights with Marriott, you can pick 5 elite nights as a choice benefit. So now you're down to only needing 30 nights total at Marriott's in order to get to titanium status and United Silver. So
yeah, well, and I guess what I mean there is in terms of like, compare that to staying 30 nights in any other chain or 35 nights in any other chain, you're getting far more than you would with 30 or 35 nights a year. So if you're in that range where you're like, I don't stay enough to get like Hyatt Globalist status, for instance, and the 30 nights is going to get you what, like, Explorist with Hyatt and what is nothing important with Hilton, maybe a Hilton Gold, but you get that from a credit card anyway. Like this would be the program, I think, to put your 30 or 35 nights at if you just got those 2 cards.
It sounds like it. Yeah. All right. So the last relationship we have to talk about, it's not really secret. It's more weird. So United has this weird relationship with IHG. And I don't know where it came from, but, the IHG Premier cards, the business and the regular consumer card, both give you $50 a year of United credit, like in $25 chunks. Like, so it goes into your United Travel Bank for 6 months, then it disappears. If you haven't used it, you get another $25 after that. Unfortunately, they don't stack, is my understanding. If you have both IHG Premier and Premier Business, I don't think you get twice as much, but still, they're giving you United credit. And then on the other side, if you have the top of the line United card, the United Club Infinite card, you get $75. Now, this is only this year, but so we don't know if they'll extend it next year, but you get $75 towards IHG spend, like rebated automatically.
It's so strange, isn't it? I mean, they have this big partnership with Marriott. Where did this come from? Like, this comes out of left field somewhere.
Right. I don't know. I mean, they must have found some way. They must have had some reason to want to kind of partner with IHG, but they couldn't really declare it. But they're allowed to have these reciprocal credits somehow. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But if I was Marriott, I'd be kind of disturbed about this. United playing around behind my back when you.
Maybe they have an open relationship and it's all okay. Who knows? Who knows? None of my business. United and Marriott and IHG, but this twisted love triangle is a little bit strange anyway. It's an odd one because you wouldn't think that all sides would be happy with that, but I mean, apparently they are. But the other thing is also that it's not particularly useful. I don't think if you're getting like the $25 United Travel Bank credit, it's like in terms of usefulness, in the sense that it's not going to save you very much. It will if you're able to use it, but you have to be able to pay out of the travel bank, and so that, for instance, won't cover award taxes. I don't think you can use travel bank on that anyway. And so there's some restrictions there, and you got to use it or lose it every 6 months. The IHG credit maybe a little bit easier if you've got the Club Infinite card, only because it's $75. It's at least a little bit more significant. It probably gets you a free night somewhere. But the small amounts are just kind of strange to me. I don't get too excited about those tiny little credits, but I guess it's better than, say, a $5 a month IHG credit. So
that's true.
Maybe I should just shut up and be happy.
That's true. Well, you know what? We promised a shorter than usual show, and that's all we have about these strange bedfellows and secret alliances. If you have thought of other ones that are in the same vein, let us know through the usual channel, which is mailbag at frequentmiler.com. Let us know what you thought up and along these lines.
Very good.
So,
we have a question of the week to discuss before we finish up. So this week's question of the week came in our Frequent Miler Insiders Facebook group. And so Brianna asks, I've got a couple of questions about the Capital One shopping portal. Now I'm going to stop right there and say, we talked quite a bit last week about Capital One shopping portal and Capital One offers and all the confusion and stuff. So if you like a little bit not totally sure about Capital One shopping, you need to go listen to that show, last week's show, the Extreme Stacking show, because there was a long discussion about it. It gets confusing. So go listen to that one. So she's got a couple questions about Capital One shopping portal. I thought it was worth reading this because people who listened last week may have this fresh in mind. So Brianna said, if I click through Rakuten, okay, so Rakuten shopping portal, and the Capital One button, the shopping toolbar that she has installed, right? The Capital One button gives me an additional offer, and I click on it. Am I forfeiting Rakuten, or do I get both? Also, where does the Capital One money go? I can find my account balances on Rakuten easily, but I have no idea where to find and liquidate the Capital One money. So that's a separate question. But the first question, again, is that she's clicked through Rakuten, and then Capital One Shopping says, hey, you can get 32% here at Macy's cash back. Click here to activate. What happens to Rakuten?
Yeah, in almost all cases, when there's a toolbar type thing like that says click here to activate, what you're doing is you're transferring your click through from the shopping portal you started at to this shopping portal that you have the toolbar for. So what's supposed to happen, and I haven't tried exactly that path, so I can't guarantee this, but I'm pretty sure what will happen is that you'll earn the cash back from Capital One shopping, not from Rakuten. And so that's so you need to only click to activate if you prefer what Capital One shopping is offering. But if you follow our advice from last week, you wouldn't be shopping through Rakuten in the same browser that has the shopping portal toolbar installed anyway, because there's always that risk of a shopping portal toolbar sort of stealing the click and becoming your portal rather than what you intended. So if you did your homework and decided, I want to go through Rakuten or another online portal that's not Capital One shopping, use a different browser from the one that has the any shopping toolbars installed.
So that was my first thought, right? If you follow our advice from last week, you wouldn't end up in that situation at all. Now, however, level two, or the more advanced play, perhaps if you look at it and say, okay, well, Rakuten has a really good payout, but Capital One is giving me this, targeted offer for 32%, and you're willing to gamble a little bit. You could try to do what Brianna said, click through Rakuten, and then when the Capital One shopping offer comes up, click to activate it and see what happens. Now, I would only do that in a case where the Capital One shopping portal offer is good enough that I would be happy only getting that. But I think the chance you're taking there and what Brianna is hoping to hear, and probably won't work, but might be worth a shot if you're, again, a gambler, is that maybe you end up getting both. Now, you shouldn't get both, Rakuten and the Capital One shopping. And I don't know if that specific combination works. But again, if you're willing to gamble a little bit, you could try that. But you would try that recognizing that A, you'll probably only get whatever Capital One shopping is showing. B, maybe you won't get that and you'll end up with just what Rakuten was showing. Or C, maybe everything will get all mixed up and you won't get anything at all. So know that you're making a risk when you do it that way. If you try to intentionally play it the way that Brianna is saying, the safe bet is to do what we've said and just use a separate browser that doesn't have any toolbars and go and check out that way. That's what I would recommend for most people. But more advanced play, if you want to give it a shot, give it a shot.
Yeah. And if the opposite from what Nick just said, which is try activating the Capital One shopping toolbar first, and then go through Rakuten or whatever your preferred portal is and buying it and see what happens. You might get lucky there.
Right. There you go. Okay. So that, I think, my friends, brings us to the end. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You know what? I only answered half of her question. Let me finish her question there, Brianna, because you asked, where do you find the rewards for Capital One shopping? And that's an easy answer. You just go to CapitalOneShopping.com, log into your account, and you'll see the rewards there in your account. If you go under your account purchase history. So I know you're talking about the toolbar. The toolbar is the same thing as the desktop version of the shopping portal. So you just go to the desktop site, CapitalOneShopping.com, and log in. Or on the app, same thing. The rewards in the app and on the website will show the same thing. Again, that's for Capital One shopping, not your Capital One login. Your Capital One shopping login is where you'll find
another
those rewards.
Quick way from the toolbar, you could click the little like a gear icon, which is usually for changing settings. This will also bring you to the Capital One shopping website where you can see your rewards there.
Oh, good to know. There you go. I didn't even realize that was there. So good to know. All right. Very good. Well, that brings us to the end now of this week's episode. Thank you guys very much for being out there with us today. And again, thank you for being with us every week. We really appreciate it and wanted to take a second to say thank you this week. If you're enjoying all of this and you'd like to get our posts in your email inbox each day or each week, you want to go to frequentmiler.com/subscribe. Again, that's frequentmiler.com/subscribe. Wherever you're watching this or listening to it, please give us a thumbs up, a like, leave us some feedback, subscribe, and enable notifications. You can find us on all the various social medias. We're on Instagram and Facebook. You can join our Facebook Frequent Miler Insiders group. That's again on Facebook, and ask and answer questions and find out more about all of the things that we've been talking about. Thank you very much for being here, and we will see you again next week.
Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.